Morning to you. This is Breakfast with Steve the Man.
Shall we take a look at today's front pages on the newspapers? And the Times leading with Rishi Sunak, accusing Penny Mordaunt and Liz Truss of being irresponsible and dishonest about tax cuts.
The Guardian says thousands of people could die as a result of the extreme temperatures hitting the UK next week.
The Independent leads with the TV debate last night as well as the heatwave. The paper says pressure on the NHS will be extreme.
Excuse me, the Telegraph has a picture of Penny Mordaunt, saying she insists she's up to the job.
So let's go through the newspapers now. Joining us this morning, Kevin Schofield, political editor of the HuffPost UK, and Nikki Hodgson, author and broadcaster. Welcome back, both of you. We'll start with the heatwave, Kevin.
Yeah.
We've been in trouble from some of our viewers for stoking up fear. But we're only talking about what everybody's reporting. And the authorities are telling us.
Well,
it's coming from the Met Office.
But this here is a bit more as practical advice if you've got pets, which I think is important to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
We're a nation of animal lovers, and while we can sort of, if you follow the advice, know to stay hydrated and put sun cream on, whatever, stay out there, obviously animals don't. So there's advice here. So if you've got dogs, the signs of heat stroke include excessive panting, unusual breathing noise, lethargy. So what you should do is you should put your dog in water, not very cold water. Nikki, you were saying you'd been doing that with you.
I've been putting the house pipe on my little sausage dog. He sort of likes it, half thinks it's game, but I also got him a paddling pool last week, so I went in. You have to go in with him, but that's fine. I don't mind doing it.
Maybe that's what I haven't done.
Oh, you haven't got in with it.
Because my dog won't go in the paddling
Yeah.
pool, but maybe I've got to get in with her.
We also threw balls and cheese in there.
Yeah.
Just to,
She might go after cheese.
because you know what they're like with cheese, Anne, so
Yeah.
you've got to entice.
No, that's a very good.
Cats, if you've got cats, obviously the one with dogs is obviously don't take them for a walk. Just get
No
walks on
walking.
Monday and Tuesday, I think is the advice. Cats, you got a cat?
Yeah.
So keep cats cool in hot weather. Lay down a damp towel in case your cat chooses to lie in it, and you can get pet safe sun cream for the ears.
Oh, that little pink.
Yeah. I mean, the hilarious thing about cats in the heat is they literally melt. And they just spread their bodies out on the... I mean, you can tell when a cat's hot, 'cause it's just...
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We've got to.
So, but I know it is a worry. You do wonder. I mean, I might have to sort of wrap a cold towel, a wet towel around Timmy at some point, but that'll go down like a lead balloon.
Well, I noticed if I put the hose pipe on my dog, she'd think I was punishing her for something, I think.
Yeah, well, I think he's very cheeky, so he likes a game, but the paddling pool is a good one.
I'll have a go at the paddling.
Yeah.
So, what things I do for the dog.
Yeah, the stuff we do for dogs, definitely.
Crazy, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but that's a nation of animal lovers. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Have you got any pictures of yourself in the paddling pool with the dog? I'd love to see them, please. GBViews at gbnews.uk.
I expect some WhatsApps on Monday night.
Yeah, I'll bet. Okay.
Tory leadership, Nikki, in the Mail.
Yeah, so this is actually Amanda Platel, who obviously has written for the Mail for many years, saying that once upon a time she actually hired Penny Mordaunt to be a press secretary many years ago, and she made some quite odd comments about her. She says she was sensationally beautiful, but she didn't play on her sexuality, which is kind of interesting. But she also says she was an exceptional hard worker. She lived in Reading and walked to get the 4 a.m. bus, then a 5 a.m. train to be in the London office by 6 for her early shift. But then she goes on to say about she's just woefully, not qualified for the job, and she doesn't have enough experience. So I don't know. I mean, isn't somebody who's an exceptional hard worker what we need at this stage?
I think so.
Seems a bit
She's that
sassy.
determined.
Yes, very much so.
Didn't Amanda Platel once work for Tories?
Yes.
William Hague, was it?
Yes,
Yeah.
the Conservative Central Office. That's where she hired Penny Mordaunt 20 years ago.
So she's sort of sticking the knife in, but nicely.
Yes, if you can say that, that's what she's doing.
I think Tory leaders isn't great then if she worked for William Hague, because
No.
he's an elder statesman and people
He is
tend
now.
to like him now.
But he wasn't. People hated him at the
He wasn't a
time.
great leader,
Weren't
was he?
He's
impressed.
up against Blair at his peak right now.
Yeah, that's true.
But I wouldn't.
No, it's interesting because obviously the Mail has an agenda.
Of course.
Which they want.
It's fine to
Yes, they've got Liz Truss all over their front page. And interestingly, I think that their front page headline is Liz tax boost. So it's not even Liz Truss. They're just saying Liz. They're calling her Liz now.
Yeah.
So she's one of theirs.
Well, and interesting because if you saw Liz traditionally on a paper, you'd think it'd be the Queen, wouldn't you? Once upon a time, but now it's moved on to Liz Truss. So I think that's quite interesting.
Yeah, it is. Kevin, should we look at more chaos at the airports in the Telegraph.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of people won't have had their summer holiday for a couple of years because of the pandemic. Would have been looking forward to finally getting away this year, and now being hit by chaos with flight cancellation. Now, this is even more, an even bigger blow, I would say, for them. Apparently, Heathrow have told airlines, rather than cancel flights in their entirety, just basically pull people off flights. I don't think it's literally when they're sat on the tarmac, but it's, I don't know how they would choose who to fly and who not to fly. Basically, even if you bought a ticket, they wouldn't cancel your flight, but they might cancel your ticket because they want to put limits on the number of people flying, because they don't have the members of staff to handle all the baggage and all that type of stuff.
First come, first served then, wouldn't it?
Well, you would have thought so, but you would have thought that if you've bought your ticket
And there's a seat.
and there's a seat and the flight is taken off, you should be on it. But they're saying here, that because they're putting in these limits of 100,000 a day, a passenger cap at Heathrow until September the 11th, it's been suggested that the airlines basically just cancel individual tickets.
Don't you have a legal right? I mean, I know you get protection and compensation and all the rest of it if you cannot get on the plane and if they've overbooked it or whatever, cancelled or But surely you have legal rights if you've got your ticket and you've checked in online or what have you, and then they just say, we're just keeping some seats empty. Haven't you got a legal right to say, actually, no, I've paid for this, I've checked in, you've got a seat, I want to get on that plane?
You think under kind of consumer protection rules there'd be something about it.
Yeah.
It's baffling that they could just rescind it at the last minute. I mean, I suppose they could do it, randomly, like just random allocation, but that doesn't seem fair either. And what if someone really needs to get somewhere, maybe a family member is sick or something like that,
Yeah.
What instead of banning people or withdrawing their tickets or whatever, why not just tell everybody no hold baggage? From, this summer. Hard it may be, but pack everything in what you can take in the cabin with you.
Yeah, it's difficult if you've got kids right enough because there's so much stuff extra stuff you have to carry. You can't get that in a hand luggage, but if you've not, then that's a viable option. Then you can just
walk off at the side.
Yes, that will be the price of travel this year. I don't know.
Yeah, and maybe in people business, because people are so desperate to get away, maybe they might be a bit willing to
That's what I'm doing actually in August.
That's what I'm hoping
It's
to
hand
do.
luggage for 2 weeks, which is fine for us. It's fine, we can manage. But we're taking our niece.
Yeah, but she's allowed hand luggage as well.
She's going to take a hand luggage. But when I told her we're only doing hand luggage, she wasn't happy.
Well, she was looking forward to a fashion show.
She's a student at Lancaster University, and she's been practicing by putting it in a shopper.
See, look at the luggage. If you fly at the moment, there is a danger that you'll end up like this. And this is just one of our team who arrived back just the other evening, and it's because they literally all the luggage was brought off the plane and then just dumped there, and you had to find it yourself. Because there weren't the trained baggage handlers to sort of put it on the carousel in an orderly fashion. So if you want to travel like that, you're more than likely to end up sort of looking for your own suitcase in a great sea of them.
How hard can it be to put a bag on a carousel?
I don't know.
Managed it on the Generation Game.
But I just
it can't be the hardest job in the world.
No, but if you're going somewhere warm, and you are, aren't you? If you're going somewhere for a sort of family holiday, somewhere warm, it isn't that expensive to buy yourself a couple of sundresses when you're there.
Yeah.
If you need them.
I wasn't planning on.
No, but you may have to. You may have to.
I think it's the shorts, swim shorts and things. You just rinse them out, don't you?
You just
There's
take
something quite nice about travelling light as well.
Yes.
More of an adventure.
Yeah.
It gives you a wonderful smug feeling of satisfaction when you walk past everybody waiting for their luggage and just walk off the plane and through.
No, that's very true.
Go for it. It's worth the holiday.
Are you heading anywhere in August?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to, yes. I haven't heard yet.
Have you not? Oh, heard if you've got a ticket or heard if you're off?
I haven't heard if I'm off.
All right.
Still negotiating.
Well, I think, I'm presuming I'm off. I don't know anyway. I won't be coming in. Bought the tickets now, so there you go.
We're warned. Royal stories.
Royals.
Thank goodness Meghan is not coming, apparently, is what the Queen
It's
said.
quite shocking, isn't it, this revelation? So this is from this new book by Tom Bauer called Revenge, funnily enough. It's like very, very bold, about what the Queen apparently said on the day of Prince Philip's funeral. So it's actually fascinating. It's beautifully written as well, and it's just full of these kinds of revelations. And what it really sheds light on from his perspective, is the kind of PR machinations of Meghan and Harry, like how everything they've been doing for the past couple of years has been so tactical. And it even has a section about back in the day, 2017, Meghan's interview with Vanity Fair when she was on the cover, and the tagline was wild about Harry, and how angry she got about this tagline and ran the office, and then said that the Queen would be ringing up to complain about it, and of course the Queen didn't care. So, you know, there's just so many revelations, fresh revelations actually, about how they behaved. So, I mean, whether it's true or not, I mean, it's hard to think that it can't be at this stage.
I'll tell you what I find about this, though, is that obviously Harry and Meghan was criticised for not going to the funeral.
Right.
She got a lot of criticism. Oh, you haven't even got the respect to go to the funeral. Well, actually, the Queen's, if this is true, saying, well, I don't want her there anyway.
Right, yeah.
So it's like she can't do right for doing
She can't do right for doing wrong. I mean, she can't. But I think just like the sheer avalanche of information in this new book, you know, it seems it's difficult to kind of think about them in the opposite way now. But then, of course, there'll be something else coming out about them to counter it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But this is a particularly renowned biographer, actually, isn't
Yes.
it, Tom Bauer?
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
done a lot.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of
So
things.
his sources should be good.
Yeah.
Not that I think when they quote royal sources, you never quite know how close any of those sources are. But we have to also remember, and it was an incredibly sad day because that was the day that the Queen was photographed on her own with her mask on and everything. That is a photograph that gripped the nation, I think.
And then we found out subsequently that the night before there'd been a massive party in
In Downing Street,
Well,
yeah.
bit of cake and a glass of Prosecco.
No, that was a different one.
Yeah,
This
it
was
was
This was a big booze,
That's
yeah.
when we were out in the garden and they brought the
suitcases
swing and all that.
in,
Yeah,
yeah.
That was a different one.
Oh, right.
There were quite a lot of parties.
Wasn't
See, we
that
can't
night
remember the
like
difference between any of them now because we've heard about so many.
I don't care anymore.
We've stopped talking about it now anyway, so we shouldn't bring it up again.
No, that's not brilliant. Done and dusted. Look, thank you both. We'll catch up with you in the next hour.